Hello, hello, my green skins. And this is Dr. Demento with Insane in the Membrane, and he's definitely insane after seeing this movie.
I have suffered.
So, he has suffered. Like my little test subject, and that I have on occasion, he has suffered the pain and slings of arrows of my nasty skill, and it works. So, what did you think of the movie we're watching, Witches of Eastwick?
It was a travesty of a movie. An absolute bore, an absolute annoyance. And to top it off, and this is probably the worst thing about it, it's got Cher in it.
Yeah, he is not a fan of Cher, and I can understand why, but she was considered a sex symbol of the time by a lot of women, actually. By a lot of men, actually. Redo that.
By who?
By a lot of men. She was actually considered a sex symbol for a long time. And she had a couple movies. One was a hit, the other one was a miss. And I think this one is considered the miss, even though, I gotta say it, if you're watching this movie for the main cast, you kind of are missing out. You're watching this movie for one reason only. Jack fucking Nicholson.
Whoops. Sorry.
I enjoy him over everything else.
But even he could not save this movie for me, even though he was the only thing I could say I enjoyed to an extent.
So let us break down the story. So we have ourselves our main cast of three women. We have all three of them have different problems in their life. One of them is a widower with a child, and she's a starving artist. Actually, a very successful starving artist because, I mean, she's got lakefront property and she's got a huge house. The other one is a woman who gives birth to, I believe it's Michelle Pfeiffer's character. I can't remember if it is or not. I apologize if I'm wrong. She, unfortunately, has the sad deal that she's actually she's a baby cannon, is the best way to put it. The way they portray her is that she's constantly giving birth. The last one is a woman who lost her husband because she couldn't give birth.
No, she lost her husband because she's Cher.
He hated Cher. And Cher is not a fun one in this one. And I agree with him. Cher was not the great character. She's not a good actress. Not that awful.
She's not a good anything.
Hey! I can't deny that Cher got me one or two times with some of her songs back in the day. So, no dissing Cher's music too much. So, Cher basically had this kind of thing going on where they were all kind of meeting up together to do this, at her house, this late night party every night. And oh man, was this a late night party! Every night, every Friday they would go and party together, and they would do a ladies' night. Yeah, playing gym rummy and drinking mimosas. And oh, I gotta watch out for the calories. I mean, this is such a. I was told by a friend of mine who was watching this with me. He said, I always wonder why people say, everyone has their own moments. This is clearly a white person moment. And I went, yeah, white people, we all do the strangest things. And so we got ourselves, they're doing this thing, and they start picking out a man for themselves. Unfortunately, the man they picked for themselves was Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson in this movie is absolutely one of the fun things about it, but at the same time, when he shows up, he's a complete asshole to Cher when he meets her for the first time.
With anything as trivial as seduction, but I would love to fuck you.
And Cher's it's funny because he insults her, treats her like shit, and Cher proceeds to sleep with him. Then he goes on to his next target. Because again, all three of these women picked the perfect man.
With Cher. Get yourself checked.
He sleeps with Cher. Next, he sleeps with I don't know. It wasn't Michelle Pfeiffer. It's the other woman. I can't remember her name now. But they kind of do her up like a dollar character, and they have sex after the cello. And then so they meet up after this fact. Cher goes there to meet this new guy that she slept with, and she sees, what's her face, the celloist, and the celloist is like this musician. She's like, "Oh, hi, girls," and so they kind of get in this fight over who slept with him, like who gets to have him, type of thing, which turns into this magic fight, which they start realizing, holy shit, we have magical powers. We're witches. And that leads to a lot of moments where they're just hanging out with Jack Nicholson and doing these weird things, like balloon party with all of Michelle Pfeiffer's kids. Meanwhile, there's the villain, I guess, is basically going around saying they're whores, and they actually put in a newspaper calling them the harlots of this like this manor. So yeah, that's just kind of fun. So they basically get in this little thing where they slowly, like Jack Nicholson, for whatever, he uses his powers to torture her, and then he gets the women to torture Jack, this girl as well, which has her snap, and has her husband snap and murder her. At the end of it, they find out, oh my God, we used our powers to kill somebody. They have a fight, which causes the earth to shake because they're fighting with each other and their powers are separating. So they fuck off, which leads Jack Nicholson to get mad because the girls are now ignoring him. So he starts cursing them. And that leads to the girls being very angry with Jack Nicholson, especially because they find out they're all pregnant. So they decide to get ultimate revenge by proceeding to attack Jack Nicholson in one of the most fun moments of the movie, which is actually one of the better moments, which leads to them defeating Jack Nicholson. And the movie just kind of cuts to them owning his property now, living there with all of one of the girls' things, using their witchcraft powers to basically make all this money. And Jack Nicholson showing up to talk to his 3 sons. They turn off the TV, and that's the end of the movie. Now, everything I just said is a 2-hour movie. Aye.
This movie was so long because there were a lot of plot beats that they planted, some seeds that they planted throughout the movie, but they took so long to get back to them because they focused on the girls and their interactions and day-to-day life. This movie has so much filler.
The sad thing is, yeah, that's the biggest problem with this movie. This movie is filler city. And the sad thing is it's not a bad movie. It's just there's too much of it. Like, we really don't okay, her playing with the band. Okay, one scene. You don't need multiple scenes of her playing with the band. You could have, like, introducing Jack Nicholson as a complete jackass doesn't make a lick of sense right there. That's the other thing I have a problem with. There's a moment where one of the women is playing at this thing and Jack Nicholson is snoring away. It's like, you didn't need that scene. You could have took that entire scene out. Actually, the funny thing is if you took out some of the scenes with the crazy woman slowly going more and more crazy, it would be more fun. But they took that out as well. Like you need to take all these scenes out of this movie. And if you took some of those out, like a bit here, a bit there, and cut the fat a little bit, it could be a fun movie. So fucking long. Like, ay. Okay, so what did you think of the scene work? Even though it's long, what did you think of the few times we had good scene work and the CG? We'll do both.
I think they were fine, especially considering this is a 1987 movie, but a lot of times this movie is shot like it's a soap opera. A lot of still shots, a lot of
yeah,
close-up
I got
talking
that soap
scenes.
opera vibe.
Yeah.
I got that soap opera vibe as well. There's some good scene work here, and there's some really bad scene work here.
One of the
Um,
worst scenes is that towards the end when he's driving that car like a maniac, and I don't know if it's the remastering. Obviously, now we watch movies in HD 1080p or higher, but
mhm.
you could see the stuntman. It was not Jack Nicholson. Now it's now clear as day. It's not him.
Yeah, I do agree that that is a problem that you do kind of notice that. Um, I'm hit and miss because the stunts in here actually are really good. The downside, and some, I'll say this: the special effects, well, the visual effects. Let's not call them special. I hate calling them special because of fucking CG. The visual effects in here, even with some of the CG that they had, was actually well done. And I found that really made it look good. That's what I enjoyed. What did you think of the music for this movie?
Um, Nothing memorable. Not much to say there.
It sort of reminded me of Amityville Horror, just a more whimsical version.
I mean,
It's like that. Doo-doo, doo-doo. You know what it reminded me of actually? Fuck it. No, no, no. I'm going to rephrase that. It reminded me of Beetlejuice. Like the beginning music for Beetlejuice. That's what it reminded me of. Like when the family are just wandering around, a movie Dark's thinking to himself in his head, fuck, I wish we just watched that instead. You're thinking
but
it.
knowing that it's John Williams, you listen to it and you think this is clearly not his A game. So why the hell would they bring him into this movie?
So John Williams, to me, it's like he does the flourish movies, like the like kind of like that dippy music. So to me, he does that whimsy a little bit. So I could see why they brought him in. Now, what did you think of the acting? And oh god, this is where it's going to get interesting. Go ahead.
Well, no one really brought their A game to this. I mean, we know Michelle Pfeiffer is a good actress, and what's her name? Suzanne Sarandon, is that her name? I probably butchered the name. I've heard she's famous. I haven't really seen anything she's
She's
in.
actually she's a good actress. A lot of everybody okay, Michelle Pfeiffer is just dipsy. I found, which I didn't like, because Michelle Pfeiffer can play good roles. I that's the actress. She's actually okay in this one. She seems to be having fun. The Cher
Oh,
is
don't get
either
me.
not acting.
Cher is
She's either
Cher.
not acting. Well, Cher is Cher. Let's put it bluntly. It's basically Cher playing Cher. She's not good in this at all.
She's not good at
Like,
anything.
no, I again, like I said on more than one occasion, Cher's music's okay. I'm not a huge fan. Don't love or hate it. I liked her later work, but that's just me. Uh I you know what? If they had taken Cher out and gotten someone with a little bit more flavor, I think it would have been a better movie. But the main attraction, other than the cast outside Cher, because everyone had their own little cast thing, is Jack Nicholson. He could play raving psychotic and an innocent wonder at the same fucking time. He is so good in this movie. But like I said, he has the same problem with Cher. Jack Nicholson plays Jack Nicholson. Cher plays Cher. The problem is that Jack Nicholson, you know, is good at playing Jack Nicholson. Cher just kind of seems bland. I found her bland. Like other than the Cher look, I don't think she did anything I could really say was good for that. But Jack Nicholson, on the other hand, when he's getting thrown around, he's like, girls, 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 and he's getting whipped around and shit. You could tell, like for most of it, it's not a stuntman, it's him, and then for the rest of it, it's just fun watching him go off like that. Another good moment with that is when he's sitting there with his dog, when the girls are revealing that they have powers and they're kind of walking on water and shit. and he wraps his hands around the dog, and he looks at the dog, and the dog's looking out to him, and he says, see, this is what humans are capable of. That was awesome. That to me showed this whimsy, this, like I said, he plays a jackass for most of it, and at the same time he plays like an innocent. It's interesting for that. Like I like the character, and I do find it funny that in certain scenes of the movie they actually make references to him. Like they actually no one can remember his name, but it's like something Bamber Scratch, and they say someone says certain things that make references to the devil, like different names of the devil, and I thought that was clever. There are good scenes in this movie. The problem is it's like fucking 2 hours long.
Didn't need to be that
I
long.
would say this one is bad for that, and it has great scene work, but God, is it long. So what do you want to rate this one?
I'm giving this a 3.
Actually, higher than I thought you'd give it. I think you gave Goonies a lower score. I'm giving this a.
I'd rather watch Goonies
I'm
than
give.
this.
I wonder what you're going to think of the next one. We're doing Season of the Witch, and I think I'm going to give this one a 5.5. It's passable. Again, Jack Nicholson propels this movie. This is his movie.
Yeah, that those 3 points I gave it is just for Jack Nicholson.
And again, it's not a movie we'd watch. I've been, the term chick flick has been thrown around for this one, and I could see it. So thank you, everybody, for our first Halloween movie review. We'll be doing the Season of the Witch. Warlock 1 and 2 is coming up, and then we're going to do James Rolford. No, sorry, I can't remember the guy's name. The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory guy, or the Chocolate Factory. Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, whatever you want to call it. He did a movie called The Witches, which is, he's never seen it before, so I'm interested to see what he thinks of a Jim Henson witch movie.
Oh God! Haven't I suffered enough?
I don't know. I think we like Warlock. All right, thank you, everybody. You guys have yourselves a good one. Like, subscribe, and we get to watch poor Mr. Insano in the Braino become more insane in the brain.